गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः ॐ योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधर स्वधाम्नाम् अन्याश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्. So we are in Bhagavatam, Canto 12, Chapter 4, verse number 23. We have to begin from, and we are looking at the fourfold pralaya. That means the fourfold dissolution. And in this we were looking at how the earth element dissolves into the water element dissolves into the fire element dissolves into the air element dissolves into the ether element or space element, and space dissolves into the tamasic ego. The five senses, which are the tanmatras or the subtle aspect, rajas aspect of the five great elements, they merge back into the rajasic ego. And mana buddhi chitta ahankar, they merge back into the sattvic ego, and the sattvic ego merges back into the mahat tattva, and the ahankar. Ahankar only is expressing as these three. So tamas, rajas and sattva, they all merge into the mahat, the one which includes all the three. Just like you are the one who's including all, the wife also, the mother also, the daughter also, all are your expressions only. So that Mahat Tattva is the ultimate one who is expressing as these three. He is the big ego. Who is that? Brahmaji. And then that merges back into the, where did it say? The gunas absorb Mahat, impelled by time, and the Mahat merges back into the Prakriti, or Prakriti is the Maya Shakti or the Prakriti, and that Prakriti is the state of where the Sattva, Rajas, Tamas come into equilibrium, and that Shakti is inseparable from the Purusha, is inseparable from the Purusha. But last week we were talking about the Sankhya Yoga, isn't it? And in Sankhya Yoga, the Purusha and Prakriti are taken to be separate. And thus, whatever is the quality of the Prakriti, that is not the quality of the Purusha in Sankhya Yoga, we are saying. Whereas in Ishvara Advayavad, that is the Kashmiri Shaivism, there we take that one alone is expressing as Ishvara and Prakriti, and Ishvara and Prakriti are inseparable, and Ishvara is the Purusha principle and Prakriti is the principle, the Shakti principle, which expands and contracts. When it expands into everything that we absorbed just now in that sequence. It expands back. Ah. So, having said that, in that, then it says, Prakriti is not subject to the six states. Who is that? The Maya is not subjected to this absorption and to Laya. She is as it is. What can you absorb? Only her expression, isn't it? You can absorb the the manifestation which is appearing in its absence. That you can absorb. But Maya Shakti, where will you absorb? Can you absorb the mind? Can you absorb the mind into the Lord? I am asking you all. Think. Can you absorb your mind into the Lord? Or you can absorb only the thoughts back into their source, isn't it? You don't know where the mind is. You only know the thoughts in that manner. You can only absorb that which you know. You can do the laya prakriya of that which you know. You have never seen mind. You have seen only, you know the thoughts. You haven't seen mind. See, same way, you have seen space, air, fire, water, earth, the senses, mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankar, all are thoughts. Mahat Tattva is also a thought. It's an idea in your mind. But what is mind and what is the avyakta, the unexpressed, which is in the state of ignorance? Do you know that? No. So you cannot absorb the avyakta. You can only absorb whatever you know into its source. So that is what is told here. In that state, in the state of avyakta, we told you, avyakta, another way of putting it is maya, another way of it is ignorance, another way of putting it is, but when you are in ignorance, you are sleeping. When you are body identified and you access the equilibrium, then it is samadhi. If you get a shock, you are in coma. If you can't handle the whole process, you are dead. But we want to transcend all this. That means here it says that in that state, we want to, in Vedanta, we want to avoid this state of equilibrium. Not avoid state of equilibrium, we want equilibrium, but we want to go beyond it. But what happens in majority people, last week I was telling you that those who are into Prakriti Laya, Kundalini, Kriya Yoga, they all reach void, emptiness, and they get stuck there. And they are not able to go beyond. Then there is fear. Then there is anxiety. And then there is that, I don't know where I'm going. I think I'm going cuckoo. I'm imagining things. I'm seeing things. I'm, and they get afraid after that. So here, in that state, there is no speech, no mind, no modes of Prakriti, no Sattva, no Rajas, no Tamas, no Mahat, no other products of matter, no breath, no intellect, no senses, nor the deities presiding over them, and no conception, much less location of lokas. So what is there? Nothing. If you want to say, Sadguru Maharaj says, you all know who Sadguru is. Sadguru says, someone asked him, what do you have? People always ask, what is your opinion? He said, what do you have your opinion about Buddhism and Hinduism or Shaivism? He is a Shaivite, no? And Shaivism. They say Buddhism, Lord Buddha, he was born a Hindu. He took only one exercise out of the Vigyan Bhairav. In Vigyan Bhairav, there are 114 exercises of meditation. Out of that, he took one. And he realized himself. He didn't even touch the other 113. And people after him made it into a religion. So how much more is there to offer just by Vigyan Bhairav? So here So, whatever you know in this world, you know only by way of thought. And whatever you know by way of thought can only be absorbed back into its source. And when your attention is on Prakriti, the maximum you can go up to is the equilibrium. Equilibrium. That means it's no longer you come here. That will become the gateway to go beyond. Then here says again, so all these things are no breath, no mind, no intellect, everything, all that you read again and again and get there. Again, there is no dream, nor waking, nor deep slumber, no ether, water, earth, air, fire, or sun. It is something like deep sleep or vacuity, nay, beyond conception. And when usually people come out of samadhi, they know they were somewhere, but where they were, they don't know. I was in a very peaceful state. It was so divine, it was so freeing, it was so ecstatic. I felt very complete. But what is it? I don't know. I can't put it into words. To put it into words, then Vedanta you require. When we pursue meditation like this, Laya Prakriya, there is will required. Will is exercised because you are merging something willfully, earth into air, water into air. It's a bhavana. But in this there is no understanding. And if understanding is not there, only by bhavana we are merging back, then we will either merge into the emptiness, go to the equilibrium, because remember what it's saying here, even no gods are there, because you have gone beyond form. Remember, samadhi is drishyanu with savikalpa samadhi. When you do japa, it leads to drishyanu with savikalpa samadhi. Samadhi with the thought of a form that you are able to communicate with. Then, and form is the quality of fire. And the higher one is shabdanu with savikalpa samadhi. Sound is the quality of space. Space is subtler, finer than fire. From space came air, from air came fire, from fire came water, from water came earth, from earth came aushadhi, from aushadhi came life. That is the sequence. So drishyanu with savikalpa samadhi, samadhi with a thought of some form. Shabdanu with samadhi, shabdanu with savikalpa samadhi, samadhi with no form but only the sound, maybe Om or any other mantra. Then when you go beyond the word, because remember here that it said no sound also, so then it becomes nirvikalpa samadhi. But nirvikalpa samadhi is also you go in and you come out, you go in and you come out, you go in and you come out. You have transcended the prakriti, you go into samadhi. Then after some time, when your capacity to control the prakriti diminishes, then again prakriti shows itself, because that is its nature. Just like you cannot sleep continuously. No, there you can, no? She can. You can too. They are challenging. Don't challenge us. We can sleep. Normal people, when they go to sleep, after some time they do wake up. Similarly, a person who goes into samadhi with willpower, with bhav, with lay prakriya, that is what is being told here, eventually he will come out. If he doesn't come out after 21 days, then he is gone. That's what some Mahatmas say. Many people, those who do practice this, they even come, when they come back to their awareness, and the awareness comes first, then they realize, oh my God, I'm not breathing. They get into shock. That time you can observe that. Then it says, the Vedas speak of it as a state which is the root of the universe. Root of the universe. What is the root of the universe? Prakriti. What is the root of the universe? The equilibrium. That state of vacuity. This is what is known as Prakriti Pralaya, the dissolution of everything into Prakriti or primordial matter. So those who follow Shakta Upasana, Shakti Upasana, they come to here. You read Durga Saptashati, you read Chaundarya Lahari, you do Sri Vidya Upasana. This is the goal. Nothing wrong. There is nothing wrong. After that, life is wonderful because you are not attached to anything. You realize that everything is she alone, and once you know and have surrendered to her, then whatever she has is yours, and she is not separate to you. Then this is what is known as Prakriti Pralaya, the dissolution of everything into Prakriti or primordial matter. When impelled by time, the potencies of the Supreme Person as well as of the unmanifest Prakriti are completely and helplessly withdrawn into their substratum. When Prakriti is not expressing, okay? Understand this thing. How does Prakriti express? How does nature express? Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. Sattva. This is the expression. If it is not expressing, then it is called Maya. Then is there a reason for Maya to be? We are only calling Maya because we are wanting to give a word to that state of equilibrium. But the moment it's equilibrium, that unmanifest power is one with the Purusha principle. That very moment. The moment your waking goes out of your mind, you are not making it go, it's all going away. You are thinking of sleep, you go to sleep. Because you thought of sleep, you went to sleep. Naturally also sometimes you feel, just now 10-15 minutes I took a good power nap after hard work. Today I worked hard. But what happened after that? The moment everything has gone, have I gone to sleep or have I gone back to the infinite reality? Question is this. If there is no expression of Prakriti, if there is no expression of thoughts, if there is no idea of sleep also, and I am awake, I have gone back. I have gone back to the reality. Because I am the reality. There is no question of going back. It is the power which is going back. It seems to be separate from me only when it expresses. The power seems to be separate from the Purusha principle when it expresses. But when it is not expressing, it is one and the same with the Purusha. It is Paramashiva, it is Narayana. See? Think in this manner before going to sleep. मोजा आ जाएगा. The potencies of the Supreme Person as well as that of the unmanifest Prakriti are completely and helplessly withdrawn into their substratum. Whose substratum? Substratum of Purusha and Prakriti. What is the substratum of Purusha and Prakriti? Narayana. What is the substratum of Purusha Prakriti from Kashmiri Shaivism point of view? Paramashiva. So Paramashiva, when he becomes as if, very bold, in italics, underline, apostrophe, as if, wants, wants to experience himself, becomes aware of his potentiality. The moment he becomes aware of his potentiality, which is this Shakti, which is this Maya, which is this Prakriti, which is this power, immediately he is no longer Paramashiva, he is called by the scriptures as Shiva and Shakti. So Shiva alone, Paramashiva alone is expressing as Shiva, Paramashiva alone is expressing as Shakti. Understand? They are not, Shiva and Shakti are not two separate, never going to be able to come together, my darling, my lost, my inseparable soul. No, nothing like that. They are inseparable because their substratum is one. Waves may be many, but the substratum is only water. Ornaments may be many, substratum is only the gold. Creases may be many on this shirt, but the cloth is one. Exactly the same way. Expressions may be many, but so is there a possibility of many wrinkles on this cloth? Yes. But at this moment there is no wrinkle, there is only special wrinkle. But we are not even at that point here. Here we are saying that Paramashiva, as if expresses, wishes to experience himself or becomes aware of his own potentiality, then he is called as Shiva Shakti. But when we look at Sankhya Yoga, Purusha Prakriti, Purusha Prakriti, Purusha Prakriti, we think of it as two separate, isn't it? It is not so. Bhagavad is also saying the same thing here. Laya prakritiko hesha purusha vyaktayor yada shaktaya sampraliyante vivasha kala vidrutaha. So in this manner, our goal is to get back to be the substratum, not get back to the substratum. To be the substratum. And what is hijacking us from being the abstract substratum? Our overindulgence in the Prakriti. And on account of our identification with the Prakriti, we feel in bondage. So what we want? We want to escape from bondage. Then what do we want? We want freedom, we want liberation, we want moksha. So because we ourselves bound ourselves, now we are thinking of liberation. So where is this idea of bondage? In the mind. Where is this idea of liberation? In the mind. What is bondage? Identification with the expressions of the Prakriti. You only got identified, nobody asked you to. No, this is what we were taught in the school, this is what we were taught by parents, this is what can I do, I am this body, I didn't choose to be the body. No, you chose. Okay, if you didn't choose, now correct yourself. Don't think that you are the body, don't think you are the wife, don't think you are the... Then what are you? Aham Satchidanandoham, Aham Kevaloham, Aham Brahmasmi. Think and continue playing all the roles. So we only create our own attachments, identification, the ego does. All attachments are of the ego. So by this Prakriti Laya, what is happening? Whatever it is attached with, that is being dissolved consciously into its source. And when everything has been dissolved, and as the dissolution is taking place, purification is also happening. And as purification is happening, eventually there is nothing to dissolve anymore. When the last bit has been dissolved, which is the ego, the sattvic ego, then nothing more to be done. If we are aware, if we are conscious, then the Prakriti and the Purusha go back to their source. Because Purusha can express as Purusha only if Prakriti is there. Only if Prakriti is there. If Prakriti is not expressing, how can Purusha be Purusha? Can you be a wife of a ghost husband? How come you are saying no? You are a husband, man. Can, can,
Ghost.
in scriptures it comes Vandhya Putra. Can there be a barren woman's son? We are using the words, the once upon a time there was a woman and she was not married and she could not conceive but she had a son. Now, as the story, and it was this Jnaneshwar Maharaj gives, somewhere it comes this story. There was a city of, the kingdom of 3 cities, 2 were non-existence and 1 was never there, and something like that it goes on. But because we have used words, doesn't mean that there is something there. There was a city of 3 towns, or kingdom of 3 cities, out of which 2 cities were never there and 1 never existed. Now, what does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. Yet the story is going on. It's like that. So, is avyakta something? No. We know the cause only from effects. We know the cause only from effects. So, why do we say there is Purusha Prakriti? Because this process is there, because these effects are there. But if effects have been merged into their source, now there is no effect, no thought only, will the Prakriti, which is zero, which is nothing, which is vacuity, as he says here, is there anything called emptiness? No. But people are very imaginative. I saw a void. How can you see void? How can you see emptiness? You cannot see emptiness. It's a word which you have created. So, in lay prakriya, if proper understanding is there and the pathway is clear, then when everything merges back into the source, the Purusha Prakriti, because Purusha is Purusha only if Prakriti is expressing. If Purusha, remember when we did Amrit Anubhav, Lord Shiva is sitting with his eyes open. Lord Narayana is sitting with his, not open, sorry, closed. Narayan Bhagavan is sitting with his eyes closed. Brahmaji is sitting with his eyes closed. All of them are not available. They are merged into their source. Only when their potentiality, called Shakti, called Lakshmi, called Saraswati, she starts wanting attention. Then, stop that. When she starts wanting attention, what does she do to get attention in Amrit Anubhav? She starts expanding. What is expansion of Prakriti there, Shakti? What is the first expression of Shakti? Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. Then Tamas becomes space, air, then Mahat Tattva, then and so on. And as she multiplies, what is this multiplication of? The potentiality, the Shakti, the Maya Shakti. As she is multiplying, Shivji is slowly coming out of his meditation. Then he is called Shiva. Acha, I am Shiva. This is my beautiful, my wife. Where is my wife? Where is my wife? Oh, she became this beautiful creation. This is her expression. And as by the time his eyes are fully open, he looks at his wife, which is expressing as this beautiful myriad creation. He is in awe of the creativity of his wife. And he says, wonderful. Whenever we say wonderful or we are very happy about it, our eyes close. The moment he closes, again back into meditation. This is what is happening. And now from here, Let's see. So the goal is, when we are doing Laya Prakriya, if our goal is very clear that we need to get, we are the substratum. Our essence is the substratum. Here, the Shakti is the mind. The potentiality is the mind. And when we talk about Mahat Tattva, etc., that is the total mind. Purusha is the conscious principle. Conscious principle is called conscious only because it is aware. कौन हो गया? गायब हो गया कोई? अच्छा, मैं गायब हो गया. हाँ? Because he is aware of something, then it is consciousness. See? Now it says, बुद्धीन्द्रियार्थरूपेण ज्ञानं भाति तदाश्रयं दृश्यत्वाव्यतिरेकाभ्याम् आद्यन्तदवस्तु यत् दीपचक्षुश्च रूपं च ज्योतिषो न पृथक् भवेत् एवं दीखानि मात्राश्च न स्युरन् यतमादृतात् बुद्धिर्जागरणं स्वप्नः सुषुप्तिरिति चोच्यते मायामात्रमिदं राजन् नानात्वं प्रत्यगात्मनि यथा जलधरा व्योम्नि भवन्ति न भवन्ति च ब्रह्मणीदं तथा विश्वम् अवयव्युदपाप्ययात्, not अवयव्युदयाप्ययात् सत्यं ह्यवयवः प्रोक्तः सर्वावयविनामिह विनार्थेन प्रतीयेरन् पटस्येवाङ्तन्तवः यत्सामान्यविशेषाभ्याम् उपलभ्येत स भ्रमः अन्योन्यापाश्रयात् सर्वम् आद्यन्तवदवस्तु यत् विकारख्यायमानोऽपि प्रत्यगात्मानमन्तरा न रिपुप्योऽस्त्यग्नुरपि स्याच्चेच्चित्सम आत्मवत् न हि सत्यस्य नानात्वम् अविद्वान् यदि मन्यते नानात्वं छिद्रयोर्यद्वत् ज्योतिषोर्वातयोरिव. In the 23rd verse, this is from where we are starting today. बुद्धि इंद्रियार्थ रूपेण ज्ञानम या भाति तदाश्रयम दृश्यत्वात् व्यतिरेकाभ्याम आद्यंतवद वस्तु यत्. In the, now here the prakriya is given, prakriya, lay prakriya was given there, and here it says in the form of the intellect, the senses and their objects, it is consciousness alone. So very, very important point. Normally we don't think of these things. We takiya kalam laga hua hai. I am not the body, I am not the breath, I am not the intellect, I am not the mind, I am not this, I am not that, I am not the purusha, I am not the prakriti, I am the substratum. Bol kon raha hai bewkuf. Can prakriti be apart from consciousness? Can this whole cosmos be outside consciousness? Where is this whole cosmos? Where is this whole universe? How do you know it? How do you know it? By way of thought you know it. And where are thoughts? In your mind. So everything that you know about this universe, you only know it through your mind. So where is the whole universe? In your mind. And what is mind? Consciousness with thoughts is called mind. Consciousness with thoughts is called mind. Water with form is called wave. Water with form is called wave. Water with total form is called ocean. Consciousness with total form, again it's a thought. is called God. Yeah. Ah. And that consciousness, which is abhinna nimitta upadan karan of this entire creation. I am. Don't forget that. Substratum I am. Don't outsource it to someone. And that is what is told here. In the form of the intellect, the senses and their objects, it is consciousness alone, their ground or substratum which shines forth. So it is the do eyes have any purpose to illuminate? Can eyes know the objects? Can the vision be possible if life is not possible, is not there? Dead man also has eyes. Can he see? He has the five senses. Can he function through those senses? He has brain. Can he think? Dead man? No. So eyes become functional only when mind is functioning through it. Mind becomes functional only when life is functioning through it. And life is possible only if Chaitanya Vastu, the pure consciousness, is there. Isn't it? So, whether pure consciousness is expressing as life through the intellect, and there are thoughts, but it is still the pure consciousness only. See, this will only, if you are trying to work it out as a data that you are receiving right now, it will not work. You have to apply it on yourself, that you are the pure consciousness. You are expressing through the intellect. You are expressing through the mind. You are expressing through the senses. Remember one exercise we gave somewhere. It comes in Drisya Vivek. In Panchadashi also it comes. In Vivek Chudamani also it came. What is that? The Bhutakash, Chittakash and Chidakash. Bhutakash is the gross space, which is the total universe, as you know it. What is its source? If this is the effect, where did it come from? Where did it come from? Scientists are still looking for it. Oh, it came from the black hole. Oh, it came from the other side of Earth. 300 years ago, they used to say, Earth ends. After that, I don't know what it is there. But our scriptures, they have already come to the conclusion. What is that? Where has the universe come from? The gross universe. What is the cause of the gross universe? The subtle. And what is the subtle? The mind. Chittakash. The space of the mind is that total space in which multiple universe, if you want to imagine, they are there. Which are the multiple universe? The waking universe, the dream universe, the deep sleep universe, the absence of the two. So 3 universes are there already. And now imagine how many people in the waking are imagining their own life, different scenarios of life. In dream also people are, all those are happening only in your mind. And now you are thinking, Acha, I understood, but sir, you are tricking us. My mind is thinking like this, I understand, but his mind, her mind, there's so many minds. There is only one mind. There is not many minds. Mind is consciousness. Consciousness cannot be many. We are imagining one consciousness as many. Just as we are imagining one woman as many, as mother, as daughter, as sister. You have started imagining. On account, you decided that you want to reflect differently with respect to this person. You want to reflect as a mother with respect to children. You want to reflect as a daughter with respect to your mother. You have taken that, you have allowed that to happen. Amachi has got no children, but she has decided, I am the mother of the whole universe. I am the universal mother. The whole world is included in me, so she's nourishing it. It is natural for her, never gets tired. See? So, in the form of the intellect, the senses and their object, it is consciousness alone, their ground or substratum. So, intellect cannot function without consciousness, mind cannot function without consciousness, senses cannot function without consciousness, body cannot function without consciousness. Whatever has a beginning and an end is unreal because it is open to perception and has no existence apart from the cause. This is the first rule of cause and effect. Newton came bloody after many years. Our cause and effect, or not Newton, who is this? Einstein. Energy is never created, mass is never destroyed. Energy is never created, mass is never destroyed. Right? No, Newton is not that. That is E is equal to mc square. Newton is the three laws of motion. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction, and the gravity and another thing. So that is.
So energy cannot be destroyed, or it can be converted from one form to another form. It's Newton.
Right? Energy cannot be converted. It manifests. But my statement was not that. My statement was energy cannot be destroyed. No. अब मेरे को कंफ्यूज कर दिया. क्या बोला था मैंने? Mass cannot be destroyed. And energy cannot be created. And energy cannot be created. And mass cannot be destroyed. So there is no death in that manner. If you understand this, there is no death. Do you die with every thought dying? Do you die with every breath dying? Do you die with your childhood died? Then your teenage died, then your youth died. Every moment you are dying. Cells are dying. Are you dying? No. Then why are we afraid? Because we have imagined that one day death is coming. Because we have given it a reality to some idea. Anyway, point is, intellect, mind, senses, body cannot function without consciousness. The cause, these are the effects. Prakriti cannot function without Purusha. Is Purusha the cause? No. But within Prakriti, if you want to, because Purusha is called Purusha only with respect to Prakriti. We are using the word consciousness only with respect to whatever it is expressing through. So what is it expressing through? Intellect, mind, senses, breath, body. Then it says, it is open to perception and has no existence apart from its cause. What is this rule? This rule is every effect must have a cause, and the second rule is cause alone expresses as many effects. So effect is wave. What is the cause of the waves? Ocean. So ocean alone is expressing as many waves. Effect is ornament. What is the cause? Gold. Gold alone is expressing as many ornaments. If the cause is not there, can you have ornament? Not possible. Woman is there, she alone is expressing as wife, daughter, sister. If the woman is not there, can you have wife or daughter, sister? No, not possible. So, first rule, very basic, every effect must have a cause. Every effect must have a cause. So, where are the senses? If senses are the effect, no, if world is the seen, perceived, what is the cause of the world? Your senses. They are, because of seeing you are able to see form, because you can hear the sounds of the world, because of the nose you can smell the world. So you can interact with the world only because you have the five senses. If you don't have five senses, you cannot know the world as you know it right now. So from the, so we come back, we take the we are going back to the cause. So the cause of the whole world is the five senses. The forms keep changing. Does the vision keep changing? No. The sounds keep changing. Does the ear change? No. The hearing capacity, does it change? No. The fragrances come and go, but the nose remains the same. Just like the gold remains the same, but the ornaments come and go. The ocean remains the same, waves come and go. Similarly, senses remain the same. The stimuli for each sense organ, they come and go. Senses are not affected. Similarly, what is the cause of the five senses? The mind. Is the mind affected? If sometimes the thought of what you have seen is coming in the mind, then the thought of smell, then the thought of sound, then the thought of form. So some stimuli is continuously coming. Mind is the cause, senses are the effect. Senses cannot function without the mind. World cannot be perceived without the senses. Senses cannot be function or operate without the mind. Then mind is functioning with what? What are the manyness of the mind? The thoughts. Thoughts are many, but the I is one. I know these thoughts, isn't it? Where is the I thought? In the intellect. Where are the many thoughts? In the mind. So I thought is the source, is the cause, and many thoughts is the effect. If the I is not there, the thoughts cannot express. They have got no, they cannot. Impossible. They need some. Day and night cannot express if the sun is not there. Day and night cannot express if the sun is not there. But are the day and night a reality, or sun is the reality? Sun is the reality. Sun doesn't come and go. The day and night come and go. The I doesn't come and go. The thoughts with which it interacts, it comes and goes. You understand? And what is this I? Is it the miserable I? Is it the identified I? Is it the I which was born and is afraid of dying? Or is this I whose true nature is the infinite reality? So in this way, this is again prakriya. So we are coming, the here teacher, Lord is telling, or Shukdev Ji Maharaj is telling to Parikshit, this is towards his end. He's saying, come to this recognition that nothing in the expressions can function outside consciousness, and that consciousness you are. Then Deepaschakshushcha Rupam cha Jyotisho na Prithak Bhavet Evam Dhikhani Matrascha Na Syuranyatam Light, the eye and color, which are all modifications of fire, are not distinct from fire. Similarly, the intellect, senses and their objects are not distinct from Brahma. The only Brahman, the only reality which is quite different from them, inasmuch as it exists even when they cease to be, while the reverse is not true. So, whether day and night are not there, does it affect sun? No. Whether ornaments are expressing or not expressing, does anything happen to gold? No, it remains gold only. Similarly, whether I thought, whether the many thoughts in the mind, whether the five senses, whether the whole universe which the five senses are illuminating, whether they are there or not there, does anything happen to the pure consciousness? No. Does anything happen if there is no ocean and no wave? Water remains water. How does it matter? Isn't it? Apply this subjectively. This is who you are, the undisturbed, the unchanging principle. So here it says, are not similarly, the intellect, senses, and the objects are not distinct from Brahma. Not distinct from Brahma because the material that has gone into the intellect, the mind, the senses, the world is nothing but that infinite reality, the pure consciousness. The material that has gone into an iceberg, what is the material? Water. But is water and iceberg two distinct entities? It seems like that, isn't it? Iceberg has a shape, water has got no shape. Water is flowing, iceberg is fixed. Water can take any shape. If you put in any container, it can take any shape. Can iceberg take any shape? No. Totally different qualities. But does that mean that they can never be one? This is our understanding. Because we are so obsessed with form, we think, how can consciousness be expressing through form? How can water be expressing as iceberg? It is crystallization of water, crystallization of consciousness is called intellect. The gross, that gross and subtle is the crystallization. For that you need to have the vision. You have to understand that this is why you have to understand, why you have to accept, because scriptures are saying it. Nobody else has told you this. Because whatever you have heard or known till now has only kept you in the loop of fear, has kept you in the loop of birth and death. And you are all, every person, knowingly or unknowingly, is only seeking contentment and happiness. So thinking has to change. And what is that thinking which will help us? Accepting that we are the ultimate source. As the consciousness, we are that pure consciousness. Not I am the consciousness, so consciousness is the material which has gone into all my desires, all the thoughts. Then I will continue desiring. Gone. It doesn't work that way. Continuing in the 25th verse. Buddhir jagaranam swapnaha sushuptiriti chochate maya matramidam rajan nanatvam pratyagatmani. Wakefulness. One more thing. Intellect, mind, senses, world, they are possible because of consciousness. Reverse is not true. Consciousness is not possible because of these. Effect cannot become the cause of the substratum. Substratum is the cause of the effects. Mind is not there because of the senses. Senses are there because of the mind. World is there because of the senses. Senses are not there because of the world. Cause itself is expressing as effects. It's not the reverse way. Cloth is because of the thread. Thread is not because of the cloth. You understand? So, here it is saying consciousness is expressing through intellect, mind, senses, etc. But the reverse is not true. Wakefulness, now next set of data is taken. Wakefulness, dream and deep sleep it is said are so many states of buddhi, intellect, the plurality attributed to the pure self in the form of Vishwa, Tejasa and Prajna are as severally presiding over the three states is mere illusion, O Parikshit. If you listen to Vivek Chudamani or Tattva Bodh or Atma Bodh or Panchadashi. This topic was covered in detail there. And what is it? We have three states. What are they? Waking, dream, and deep sleep. The consciousness in the waking state is called Vishwa. The consciousness expressing through the dream state is called Taijasa. And consciousness expressing through deep sleep state is called as Prajna. When it is called Prajna, when you are awake of the deep sleep, not when you are sleeping. Okay. Now, if there is individual waking, individual dream, individual deep sleep, there must be total waking, total dream, and total deep sleep. So, if individual waking state is Vishwa, what is called the total waking? Virat. If individual dream is called Taijasa, what is the total? Hiranyagarbha. If individual is called, individual deep sleep is called Prajna, what is the total deep sleep? The consciousness expressing through total deep sleep, what is it called? Ishvara. Because remember, the Shakti is not expressing, it is avyakta, unexpressed. So in deep sleep, is there any experience? No, because no thought oscillation. So totality, when nothing is happening, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas have not got activated, it is Ishvara. So here it is told that all this is also an illusion. Khinch liya. He is pulling the carpet from under your feet. Why? He wants Parikshit to come to the substratum that he is, that the self is. And through him he is teaching us. So he is clearly, Parikshit Maharaj is saying, Prajna, as severely presiding over these states, is mere illusion. It is only a projection of your mind. These ideas are only prakriyas. Because we have taken the world to be real, so we have to somehow, with the usage of words, ideas, theories, X factor, we are trying to bring your mind back to recognize that it is essentially the infinite one. So here says that it is an illusion. Arey ba, aa gaya. Ha, O Parikshit. Now in the 26th verse he says, Yatha jaladhara vyomni bhavanti na bhavanti cha brahmanidam tatha vishvam avayavya duyapyayat. He says, just as clouds appear and disappear in the sky, this universe too, because it has a beginning and an end, and since it is made up of parts, sometimes appears and sometimes disappears in Brahma. Isn't it true? Every day we go through this process. The world becomes available to us when we wake up. When we go to sleep, it vanishes and it gives way to a dream world which lasts for few minutes but feels so real. Then we go into a world of nothingness, then again into the waking world, and it's going on. And sometimes some people living in this world live in the world of Harry Potter, don't they? They are living in their own imaginary world, or whatever they are going on nowadays. I don't know, apart from Harry Potter, whatever is. What is that? What was the game that you were watching? Minecraft. Another. Does it increase your ability or it confuses you to the highest order? Don't answer. If you are taking time to answer, you don't know the answer. So this is what it is. That Vishwa Taijasa Prajna. Virat, 11th chapter Bhagavad Gita, Virat Roop Darshan, Vishwa Roop Darshan, that Virat Roop. Then Brahmaji is the Hiranyagarbha, total subtle mind or total dream. Total dream, Brahmaji. Individual dream, Taijasa. I am the dreamer, total dreamer, Brahmaji. And Prajna and Ishvara, all are illusions. Oh my God, now you are not leaving anything for us to hold on to. Hold on to yourself without a thought, because you are the source in essence. The earlier it clicks, the more carefree the life will become. And the longer it takes to click, for this click to take place, till then the miserable existence will continue. Efforts will continue. Hard work will continue. And there is nothing wrong in doing that. But now you get exhausted, you get tired, you don't want to do it, you want to do it, you want to achieve some goal. But when it clicks this, then everything is happening as it's supposed to. No. Who is the sannyasi we saw yesterday in 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita? Sannyasi is he who lives, who does not do desire prompted karma, who does not get into desire prompted activities, a sannyasi. And if Grahastha says, I am doing my duty, then how he should be doing? There's the difference between sannyas and tyag was being told. So what is tyag? If you want to purify, I can't be sannyasi, I have desires, bhaiya, I have desire. What can I do? I have to cook for my children, I have to do my gardening, I have to move 6 metric tons of topsoil. I can't get away from it. Then what to do? Do it sarva karma phalatyaga. So how do you live a life of relinquishment so that we purify? Do same thing was told. Sarva karma phalatyaga is karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Same thing, exactly the same. Perform action without expectation of a result. When you do this, automatically over a period of time, when enough cleansing has taken place, then automatically sannyas attitude, the sannyas disposition automatically happens. Anyway, continuing next. Satyam hyavayava proktah sarvavayavinamiha vinarthena pratiyeran patasyevaং satantavaha. In the 27th verse he says, in this world, remember what did we say? Oh, sorry, I didn't explain this. Just as clouds appear and disappear in the sky, the universe, because it has a beginning and end, and since it is made up of parts, sometimes appears and sometimes disappears in Brahma. Understand one thing. Pure consciousness, that is our nature, that is the substratum, that is our essence, that is who we are naturally all the time. And mind is functioning in finite objects, isn't it? Understand one thing. Infinite number of finite objects is not equal to infinity. Infinite number of infinite objects or thoughts are also objects for us, no? Is not equal to infinitude. Come to this. And if it goes deep into your psyche and your heart, then you will stop pursuing the truth through objectivity. our sense of contentment, our sense of solace, our sense of tranquility, that our infrastructure should be good. Then I will be happy. If my car is working, I am happy. If car is working, oh my God, my life has gone upside down. No. कौन बोल रहा है भाई? So, infinite number of finite objects is not equal to infinity. So don't try to collect knowledge. Don't try to collect data. Leave that to data scientists. Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. Let them collect. How does it matter? You transcend. You are the source. Then why are we collecting data from the scriptures? No, we are not collecting data. If you are collecting, you have gone the wrong way. We are studying scriptures. We have exposed ourselves to new data which removes whatever data is left in our mind. It is acting like a toothpick. If something is stuck, you take it out with the toothpick. Same thing. So, if objectivity is the problem, in this objective world, we have come across by grace of God the scriptures. These scriptures are whatever objectivity and conclusions and notions and misunderstandings have corrupted our mind, the scriptures are removing and bringing the correct understanding. And what is the correct understanding? Vishwa, Taijasa, Prajna, Virat, Brahmaji, Hiranyagarbha and Ishvara, all are illusions. If we don't want to take Ishvara as illusion, it's okay. It's okay. Because then you got nothing to hold on to. That is your problem. Then whole life you have molded around your temple and around your home god with Krishna and Shiva and Rama, and suddenly you feel Ishvara is not there. Then who is there? If God is not there, then who is there? If this question appears in your mind, continue praying, continue doing puja, continue reading the scriptures, continue doing your japa. Then what you have to do? Sarva karma phalatyaga. You are not qualified to understand what is being told here. It will take some time. More purification is required. If doubt is coming, understand our purification is not there. If purification is there, like a spark it clicks. The moment if the wood is wet, don't disturb your mom. She is listening. Enough of it. If the wood is wet, you keep striking the matchstick and still it does not catch fire. Then what comes out of it? Smoke. But when the wood is dry, one light of it, katak se pakad leta hai. Same way. When our mind is saturated with the thoughts, it's wet with thoughts. It's wet with thoughts. Then knowledge does not click. Because too much data, too many notions, too many misunderstandings. But when purification is enough, it becomes dry. Very less moisture molecules or thought molecules in our mind. And then when this knowledge is present, I understand, absolutely, there's no doubt. So, in the part sometimes appear and sometimes disappear in Brahma. Now in the 27th verse, In this world of all objects consisting of parts, the part alone has been declared in the Suchi stretch to be real. For the parts are seen to exist even in the absence of a composite, just as the threads of a cloth can be seen even when the cloth is not there. Oh dear one. So what is the cloth? What is the cloth? Can the cloth be without the thread? No. So thread is the substratum, no? But here what he is saying it in a bit different way. What does he say? He says in this world of all objects, we are talking about Prakriti. Prakriti is made up of parts. When there is no part in it, you can't know it, it becomes vacuum. So what is told here? In this world of all objects consisting of parts. So world is nothing but all parts put together. The sun, the planet, the moon, our body is also made up of all parts put together, isn't it? Our mind, Antakaran is also made up of parts from Mana, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankar, and so on. And the same way, parts put together, the part alone has been declared to be real in the world. In the world, in the Prakriti, the parts are real, the manifestations are real. That is, when we are Prakriti oriented, we take the finite to be real. That is what is told here. Then, oh dear, then in the 28th verse, Yat samanya visheshabhyam upalabhyet sabhramaha anyonyapashrayat sarvam adyantavad vastu yat. Whatever is perceived as a cause or an effect is an illusion, because a cause and effect are correlated to one another. Therefore, all that has a beginning and an end is unreal now. Everything that has a beginning and an end, what is to be considered it as? Unreal. Is our life oriented by cause and effect? If I don't sleep, I will not be fresh tomorrow morning. Isn't it? If I don't eat, where will I get energy from? Cause, effect. Food is the cause, energy is the effect. Isn't it the duty of my parents to take care of me and feed me and give me pocket money? They only keep making me work and give me nothing. Only sambar rice and finish it off. Yeah. Cheap wages. Cause and effect. Cause and effect is unreal, illusion. Wherever there is birth, there will be death. Wherever there is a beginning, there will be an end. From water's point of view, there is neither an ocean, the cause, nor the effect called waves. From the water's point of view, there is neither a beginning of the wave and neither the end of the wave. Because at the beginning also water is, and at the end also water is. So where should be our attention? Should our attention be on the parts, on the finitude? Should our attention be on the Prakriti, on the manifest parts that this creation is made up of? Or should our attention be on the unchanging principle, which is independent, transcendental, free of cause and effect and birth and death? Meaning, in other words, it's free of all change. But without it, change is not possible. Change is happening where? In Prakriti. Remember Purusha Prakriti? So are you identified with Prakriti, or are you the Purusha, the consciousness? Without consciousness, thoughts cannot come and go. Without consciousness, breath cannot come and go. Without consciousness, I thought cannot come and go. Without consciousness, concepts, ideas, imaginations cannot happen. Without consciousness, breath cannot come and go. Without consciousness, the senses cannot see or not see, hear or not hear, and so on. Without consciousness, the speech cannot happen or silence cannot happen. Without consciousness, the organs of action cannot become operative. But where is our attention? Instead of being the consciousness, our attention is on all these parts. On waking is more important, dream is okay, sleep fantastic. My family, my family, my family. What family? Have you ever shown that much of love for I am the consciousness, Yahoo! Have you ever said? But you become so excited if the child goes to camp for 2 days and comes back. Oh, काय झालं, कसं झालं, क्या हो गया, क्या, tell me your experiences. But have you ever talked to your husband or wife or your friends? You know, consciousness, this is what. Did you also feel that you are conscious? Yeah. My God, we both are conscious. You know that? Oh my God, I never thought like this. We never have that type of conversation. Maximum we'll have. हाँ, कौन सा मसाला डाला इसमें? तेरी की. वही घिस पिट के फिर मसाले में ही आ जाते हैं. हाँ? Whatever is perceived as cause and effect, whatever we perceive through our mind, senses, whatever we perceive through our mind or intellect is only as cause and effect. Beginning and has a beginning and end. Because whatever these mind, intellect and senses perceive, it is only finite. They don't have entry into consciousness. But they can function only because of consciousness. And we do not have the vision at this moment to see that consciousness is pervading them. Just like water is pervading the wave, we don't have the awareness, alertness, purity to see that consciousness is pervading the thoughts, consciousness is pervading the senses, consciousness is pervading the whole universe. We don't have that purity yet. We don't have that clarity yet. For that, our idea of ourselves, that I am, because of my wife, because of my children, because of the body, because I am breathing, because I was born, because I was, all these because of, with reference to, all of that has to get deleted. Then this vision will develop to see that consciousness is one without a second. So, what will be the sadhana here according to this verse? Don't live a life of cause and effect. Don't mold your life according to birth and death, past or future, inside, outside. Nay, I have to start my day, what is the nakshatra today? Oh, Rahu, I can't go out of the house. And tomorrow Shani. Tomorrow also I can't go. No, Shani is for the whole year. And after that, Rahu continues. Till when? Till you die. I can't go out of the house. Rahu is sitting with multiple tentacles, new forms coming out in the form of COVID. कब तक घबरा के जियोगे? इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि बेवकूफ़ी करनी है. But fear should not be there. Fear comes from finite. Fearlessness is the nature of infinite. Continuing in the 29th verse, Vikara khyayamanopi pratyagatmanamantara na nirupyostya unurapi Syache chit sama atmavat. He says, though manifest to us, the phenomenal world cannot be explained in the least degree independently of the self. If it were at all capable of being so explained, it would turn out to be self-effulgent like the conscious self and as such unitary as the self. We can talk about this finite world only because we are conscious. Can inert objects talk to each other? Can a brick talk to another brick? Arey yaar, you are chipped, I am not chipped. Can you say? Does the brick on the roof brick says, I am hanging, you are stuck between all the bricks, you no escape. You know? At least I am getting the breeze, I am in the sun, I get the cold. Do the walls talk to each other? So inert objects cannot talk to each other. Does the thought talk to each other, the other thought? Then who talks? The personality talks, no? The consciousness. We have told you many times that knowledge is not transported through words. Then how is knowledge transported? The knowledge is the words are riding on consciousness to the other person. If that other person who's listening is available to the consciousness, then knowledge takes place. But if the speaker is thinking about thoughts, not about consciousness, thinking about thoughts, and the other person who's listening, he is collecting thoughts because his attention is also on thoughts. This is called data entry. Knowledge will not take place. And when both the listener or the student is available, the seeker is available, and the teacher is available, the teacher is talking with awareness, and the student is also listening with awareness. When awareness of the teacher and the consciousness of the teacher and the consciousness of the student meet, knowledge takes place. Then what are thoughts? They are carriers. That's all. They are means. You can't drink water from the ocean, just like that. You need a glass. So do you drink a glass or do you drink water in the glass? You drink water in the glass. You don't drink the glass. But you always say, get me a glass of water. You don't say, water, give me water in a glass. If I have to drink water, I take like this. If I don't have a glass, I put this chullu bhar ke pani pee liya. Because we have not got that acumen to catch the consciousness or be the consciousness. So therefore, the phenomenal world cannot be explained at the least degree independent of the self. Only with respect to the self the world can be explained. Why? World cannot be explained? Because how can you explain that which does not exist? Finite does not exist. It appears for some time and then disappears. Thoughts are disappearing. Every day waking dream and deep sleep are disappearing. Your childhood, teenage, youth, middle age is disappearing. Your health is disappearing. Your age is disappearing. Everything is disappearing. Everything that has come into existence is going out of existence. And that which is coming into existence and going out of existence is called the world. Then who is not coming and going? Only with respect to that the world can be talked about. And that person is conscious, consciousness itself. This lecture is not being given to a dead person. This person is being given to a conscious person. You are aware, you are attentive, I hope. See? So, as long as life is, consciousness is, then we can talk something about the world. If there is no consciousness, अरे वो मर गया यार, चलो भगवत गीता गाते. साला जब तक जिंदा था तब तो भगवत गीता गाई नहीं है. मरने के बाद चैप्टर 2, चैप्टर 18, चैप्टर 12 गाते हैं उसके सामने, मरने के बाद. अरे इट्स वेरी, व्हाट इज ऑस्पिशियस अबाउट अ डेड पर्सन? Only stink coming out of it. When that person was alive, you never talked nicely to them, you never served them, you never sacrificed for them, you never saw what were their needs, you never spoke nicely to that person, never sat together with laughter or joking or telling stories, nothing. But now you want to read Bhagavad Gita when that person has died, because it is auspicious. When it was that person was living, it was not auspicious, or what? This is our lot. वो बोल के कोई मतलब नहीं है. तो if you want to, so the point I am making here is that only if someone is, when you are conscious, then there is validity to the world. If someone is not there, if you are not conscious, the world as you know it, the dead person doesn't know it. Oh no, they say 13 days the soul revolves around the dead body. You have seen it? No, they say. Don't listen. Don't listen. No, but that is the tradition, then listen. But don't get fooled. Because wherever there is birth, there is death. This is a phenomena. Phenomena is that which is not real. When we have given this phenomena, we have taken it to be real, then all the problems begin. स्वामी जी आगे बढ़ो यार, कहाँ फंसा दे हो, चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. नहि सत्यस्य नानात्वम् अविद्वान् यदि मन्यते नानात्वं छिद्रयोर्यद्वत् ज्योतिषोर्वातयोरिव. He says there can be no diversity in that which is real. There can be no diversity. That means there can be no multiplicity in that one reality. From water's point of view, there is no many oceans and there are no infinite number of waves. Nothing. Because from water's point of view, I am all that there is. Similarly, from conscious, those who are Mahatmas, those who are self-realized, from self point of view, there is nothing separate. Everything is self alone. They can't even say everything. Then that will give validity to everything, every object in this world. Their attention is only on the one unifying principle, that the self is. It's not even their attention is, they are that. So, there can be no diversity in that which is real. If an ignorant man were to recognize such diversity, it would be unreal, like the distinction between the space enclosed by a pitcher and the infinite expanse of the sky, between the sun and its reflection in water, or between the air outside and the air inside the body. It is like you want to liberate. Liberate means what? Break the walls. The space is saying, I want to liberate. So what do? Break the walls. Then does the space inside the room, in the picture, here it's saying picture, or inside the room, does it go and merge into the total space? Is there any movement of or a traveling of the room space to go and merge into the total space? No. So, is there a possibility of pure consciousness that the self is to merge into the infinite consciousness? No. It is not. It is one and the same. So, where is the question of the soul is hanging for 13 days? That the soul is going to be reborn? That it will take the body. See, this child has all the qualities of her grandfather. Where is grandfather? He passed. I think he only has come as the child. बोलते हैं ना ये सब. Too much obsession. Please read the last chapter again. Evils of Kali Yuga. Too much attachment to children. Too much attachment to family. As if family is the end game of life. When family becomes the end game of life, we have lost the plot. When food is the end game of life, we have lost the plot. Read those points and correct your disposition. Then what is the next one? And the other example, just as between the sun and the reflection in water. So is the reflection in the water a reality? Is the confinement of a space in a room a reality? Is the reflection of the sun in the water a reality? No, it's a reflection. It is existing in its own absence. It has got all qualities of the sun, but it has got no independent existence. Same way, between the air outside and the air inside the body. Tadejati, tannejati, taddure, tadvantike, tadantarasya sarvasya, tadu sarvasyasya bhayataha. This self, without moving, it moves everywhere. It is inside and outside. See? Ishavasya Upanishad. Tad antarasya sarvasya. It is inside and everywhere. There is no demarcation line in it, in this consciousness. Is there a demarcation line between inside space and outside space? You are imagining there is a wall. But space is pervading the wall also. Without the space, earth is not possible. Water is not possible. Fire is not possible. Air is not possible. Without the consciousness, space, air, fire, water, earth are not possible. Individuality, totality is not possible. But whatever is possible, it's only an illusion. So this consciousness is inside, outside. It is Keval. It is the one alone. There is no... but yes, here the ignorant, if an ignorant man were to recognize diversity, it would be like distinction between space. So he sees that, the differences. But we are not. Are we ignorant? What's the time? 8. Okay, ये कर लेते हैं इतना. यथा हिरण्यं बहुधा समीयते नृभिक्रियाभिर्व्यवहार वर्त्मसु एवं वचोभिर्भगवानधोक्षजो व्याख्यायते लौकिकवे वैदिकैर्जनैः. Even as in practical use of gold is found by men wrought in numerous forms, ornaments, according to various processes, so the Lord, who is above sense perceptions, is described by egoistic men in different ways in secular as well as Vedic parlance. By whom? God is not saying I am God. Understand. Jeev, Jagat, Ishwar. These are three stands on which this creation is standing. Jeev is saying there is a Ishvara, there is my cause. Where did this whole world come from? I think God created it. Where will I go after I die? I think I'll go back to God. So, we have given, we are accepting. God doesn't say that I am God. Jagat doesn't need the word. It is inert. But this Trishanku, the ego, is in between, the Jivatma. He says that I have to merge into the God, that God is the creator of the world. So here, that God alone is just as the gold is found by men in numerous forms, this God alone has become the nimitta and the upadan karan of the total creation. Then yatha ghanor ka prabhavor ka darshito yarkansha bhutasya cha chakshushas tamaha evam tvaham brahma gunas tadikshito brahmanshakasyatmana atma bandhanaha. In the 32nd verse he says, just as a cloud, the born of the sun and revealed by the light of the sun, prevents the eye, which is a part of the sun, from beholding the sun, so does the ego, which has its source in Brahma and is illumined by Brahman, stands in the way of the jiva, a particle of Brahma, realizing Brahma, which is the same as the jiva. Get confused and die. What does it mean? How does a cloud come in the sky? Only because of the sun. Sun makes the water evaporate from the oceans. That water molecule hangs on to the dust particle and appears as the cloud. And as the cloud keeps becoming bigger and bigger, just now I could see the sun, now I can't see the sun. So, what has blocked your vision of the sun? Something that got created by the phenomena of the appearance of the sun. The heat, which is the nature of the sun, heat and light is the nature, that evaporated the water. Did the sun say, I want to suck it dry? No, it's the phenomena. And that phenomena of cloud, which is temporary, it blocked my vision of the sun. And I say, sun is not there. Can sun not be there? You are seeing the cloud in the light of the sun only. Exactly the same way. Exactly the same way. This ego, this Jivatma has come about. And his vision is blocked because of ignorance, because of objectivity. His vision is blocked from seeing the infinite. He is a part of Brahman. Everything is Brahman only. But he is not able to see the Brahman. Why? His attention is on the cloud. What is the cloud? The confusion, the delusion of the mind. Is the mind other than Brahman? No. The material that has gone into the mind is nothing but Brahman. See? So, understand in this way that the ego, which is illumined by Brahman, stands in the where is it? So does the ego, which has the source in Brahman and is illumined by Brahma. So you know that you are who you are because of the light of consciousness. But instead of accepting you are the infinite consciousness, you are accepting yourself as an individual consciousness. And in individual consciousness, you accept yourself as only the waking consciousness. Double delusion. Double delusion. See? Illumined by consciousness stands in the way of the jiva, a particle of Brahma. So this jivatma is not other than the Paramatma or the Brahman. Realizing Brahma, which is the same as the jiva, and that is the purpose of our life. To realize that we are one with the Aham Brahmasmi is the goal. 33rd, Ghano yadarka prabhavo vidhiryate चक्षुस्वरूपं रविमीक्षते तदा यदा ह्यहङ्कार उपाधिरात्मनो जिज्ञासया नश्यति तर्हनु स्मरेत्. In the 33rd verse he says, as soon as the cloud of the sun is scattered, the eye sees the sun. I don't have to explain this example, which is its own self. Similarly, the moment the ego, which veils the true nature of the soul, yields to inquiry about the self, the soul realizes its identity with Brahman. See, when it said the cloud went away and the eye saw the sun, and what did it say? As soon as the cloud born of the sun is scattered, the eye sees the sun, which is its own self. Without the light of the sun, the eyes cannot see, and the sun cannot be. And who is illuminating the sun? The eyes. Now, are we going to live at this level that vision is possible only because of the sun, or are we going to live at this level that the consciousness which is expressing through the eyes as vision is more powerful than the sun itself? We say, no, the deity of the sun, the Adi Daivik Surya, is up here in the right eye. The Adi Daivik Chandra is out here in the left eye. Vishnu is in the feet. Rudra is in the heart. Shiva is in the heart. All gods have a space here, place, or location. So, also the moment the ego, which veils the nature of the soul. What is soul? Consciousness plus memories is called soul. Is it there? No. Is the reflected sun in the water there? No. But do you see it? Yes. Is there a soul? No. But do you feel it? Yes. Is feeling more real or being more real? Feeling is only through mind. Get out of it. Which veils the nature of the soul. When it is exposed, this Jivatma, when it is exposed to inquiry like this, it becomes available to itself. It becomes available to the Brahman. Having said this, Yadaiva metena viveka hetina maya maya hankaranatma bandhanam chittvachutatmanubhavo vatishthate tamahurātyantikamanga samplavam. In the 34th verse he says, when having torn in the aforesaid manner with his dagger of wisdom, Ahankara, the product of Maya, which veils. Remember, when we are doing the Laya Prakriya, we came to the Tamasic ego, the Rajasic ego, the Sattvic ego. Where did we merge it into? Into the total Ahankar. What was the total Ahankar? Brahmaji, the Hiranyagarbha, or the Mahat Tattva. And that Mahat Tattva then merged back into Avyakta. So same way here. So what are we doing? Same process is happening. Through inquiry, this entire Laya Prakriya, first control the matter. After having controlled the matter, introduce these thoughts from 30th, from this 31st, 32nd. This is Vedanta. You are going beyond. And realized all the Ahankara, a product of Maya, which veils the true nature of the soul. So, the true nature of the soul is pure consciousness. True nature of the reflected sun is the real sun. True nature of the real sun is the right eye. True nature of the right eye is the mind. True nature of the mind is the life principle. True nature of the life principle is the Chaitanya. Chetana or Chaitanya, Vastu, existence itself. Come back. Don't stop halfway. So only with wisdom, only with discrimination this is possible. Otherwise it is not possible. No, Ram, please help me, please do this for me, Papoham, I am not going to, my memories are too troubling me too much, I have got too many desires, please help me, my habits are not going away, what can I do? This is not going to give you self-realization. This is not going to give you. You have to discriminate between the real and the unreal. God cannot do it for you. There is no outsourcing. And remember, if you remain at the God level, it's okay. It's okay if that is the way you want to go. But here itself it said what? The tamasic ego, all the 5 elements merged back, all the 5 senses merged back into the rajasic ego, and what merged into the sattvic ego? All the gods merged into the sattvic ego. Why would they say it? Then what about sarupya mukti, mukti, salokya mukti, and all different types of muktis? It's only to giving you the carrot in front of the donkey. That's what it was. That is not the goal. Goal is this. If you want liberation, if you want that Takshak Nag, when it comes, when the death comes, and you are liberated, then you have to go beyond Sarupya, Salokya, etc., etc. There is no place for it here. Sarupya, Salokya is possible only when you are in Prakriti. You have to go beyond Prakriti. The Jiva stands fulfilled. They call such a state the everlasting dissolution. Oh dear Parikshit, coming to dissolving the Prakriti, then dissolving the ego, dissolving everything that you know back into its source. And that source, I am. Live in this knowledge, because you are that knowledge. हो गया नहीं अच्छा खत्म कंट्रोल कर ही देते हैं नित्यदा सर्वभूतानां ब्रह्मादीनां परन्तप उत्पत्ति प्रलयावेके सूक्ष्मज्ञा संप्रचक्षसे. Some men, knowing the subtle state of things, tormentor of foes, declare the creation and dissolution of all created beings from Brahma downwards as going on all the time, every moment. अब टॉपिक चेंज हो रहा है. I don't want to change the topic. ये टॉपिक अच्छा था डिस्क्रिमिनेशन का. We'll leave it at that. Keep क्या कहते हैं keep that thought and go away with it till you come back tomorrow morning, which is that invoke discrimination. Discrimination will make impact in our life only when we are not giving world any importance. Then discrimination will mature. If world is more important, past and future are more important, birth and death are more important, birthdays are more important, death days are more important. We are not saying बच्चा है उसको बर्थडे मनाना है, मनाओ भैया. कोई मर गया तो you have to go to the cremation, go. But be very clear inside that this is all humbug. रोना है रो भी. But inside you must know this is Leela going on. Everything is consciousness. Nothing is possible. This is my Leela. This is the Leela of the infinite. Not my Leela, Leela of the infinite. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.